Hi everyone, it's Meridy with Not Just for Boys Kit Club, and today I'm going to show you how to put together the February 2021 page kit. So first I want to go over what's in the page kit. You're going to get these thickers by Amy Tangerine. You're going to get a custom camera wood veneer, and you're going to use this packaging on the back, so don't throw it away. You're going to get the title, Born to be Wild, cut on cardstock, and you are going to have the following papers: this Amy Tangerine paper that has cameras on the back, this oxidation paper from LNV, blue, it's called Blue Calypso cardstock, and 2 pieces of this chiffon cardstock. I keep referring to it as buttery yellow because it's a buttery yellow color. And these little papers over here are representing my photographs. So instead of using photographs for this video, I'm just gonna put these little rectangles in the places of the photographs. So I'm gonna use 3 3x4 photos that are landscape orientation and 2 3x4 photos that are portrait orientation. And then we are gonna have some little journaling strips at the end. So we're gonna pretend like these are my journaling strips. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is cut all of the branding strips from your paper, and do not throw them away because we're going to use the branding strips. But we're going to just cut all the branding strips off, and then you're going to want to cut your papers all down to the size the sizes that are laid out in your instructions. So your kit is going to come with 2 pages of full color instructions, and there are cutting guides on them that show you exactly how to cut your papers. So you're going to follow those cutting guides, and I'll be right back when I get all my papers cut. Okay, so I have all my papers cut. There's quite a bit of cuts, and I am just going to put all of these cut papers off to the side for now. And the next thing that I'm going to do is work with the wood veneer camera, because I'm gonna paint mine to alter it a little, and I wanna do that now so that it's dry by the time I'm ready to put it on my layout. So I'm going to grab a little piece of scratch paper because I'm gonna kind of make a mess. So we don't need the heart for this side, so you can use that on another project. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint like a little pattern on my camera with 3 different colors that match the papers in the kit, and they match my photographs as well. So I'm gonna get washi tape, and I'm gonna lay the camera out the way it goes. Now there's a little space there between the top and the bottom, so make sure you leave this space there when you're going to tape down if you're gonna paint. And I'm just gonna use acrylic paints for this because I like acrylic paints. You could use watercolors or markers or embossing powder and emboss them. But I'm gonna use just plain old acrylic paints, the little cheap ones that come in the little jars. And I don't have a color that I like, so I'm mixing red with a light coral color to create kind of a dark coral color that's going to match my layout. I should say that this step is totally optional. You might not want to paint your camera at all. You might just want to leave it the raw wood color, which is great because it's really pretty too. But I just wanted to add a little bit of color in my layout. So I'm going to paint a super, super, super thin coat with a dry paintbrush of the colors because I don't want it to be real thick and goopy. So this is almost like thin, like a stain. I'm brushing it on so thin and making sure I don't leave very much on the camera. So first I'm going to do this color, and when you mask it with the washi and you peel off the washi, it leaves a nice clean line behind. So that's perfect. And I'm gonna let that dry for a minute while I wash my paintbrush. So I washed off my brush, and now I'm going to put another piece of washi diagonal the other direction, but I only need it on a portion of the camera because I already painted this bottom. So I'm gonna mask off where I want my next color. And I'm also going to mask off the part that I already painted so I don't get paint on what I just painted. Okay, and the next color I'm going to use is a light, like aqua teal-y color. And again, I'm using a dry brush with just a tiny little bit of paint on it because I don't want it to be goopy and I want it to dry fairly quickly. So I can move on to the next color. So I know it looks like I'm dipping my brush in the paint a lot, but I'm barely touching the bristles into the paint to pick up a little. So, and again, you could use all sorts of different mediums to alter these, or none at all. So I think I just got a little goop in there. Okay, and then when you tear off the washi, again, it will leave a nice clean line. And I'm going to go wash off my brush while that dries to do the last color. Okay, I'm ready to do the final color, and I chose to do black. And again, I'm masking off these areas. I chose to do black because I have a lot of black in my photographs, but it actually looks nice just keeping the raw wood color there. So you could do that, or you could use another color. You could use yellow because that would match, or a darker blue because that would match. White would match, all kinds of colors would match. It just kind of depends what you're working with. And you could paint this whole camera one color instead of doing all these masking if you want to. This is just like a little more interest here, just to give you ideas of all the different ways that you can alter wood veneer. So, and again, I'm using my brushes dry and I'm barely putting any paint on. And then when you tear off the masking tape, it's a nice clean line again. And I am going to set this off to the side to dry while I'm making the rest of the layout, but that's how the little camera looks after it's all painted. Okay, getting back to our layout. So now we will grab the papers that we've already trimmed, and the first thing that I'm going to do is begin to mat all of my photos on these 6 of these 8 yellow rectangles that you cut from your paper. Now, actually, my photos are not exactly 3 by 4. I printed them 3 by 4, but I trimmed just the tiniest little sliver off each side so that you can see this buttery yellow paper sticking out. And it's kind of hard to see with these white papers, but I think that will help. So you could just barely see the photo mat. I just trimmed ever so slightly off of each of my pictures so that they would fit nicely on these 3 by 4 photo mats. Now, after you mat all of your photos, you are still going to be left with 2 of these rectangles, and you're going to use those on your layout. So just don't throw them away. The next step that I'm going to do is build up the bottom of the right-hand side of the layout. So I'm going to use this buttery piece of paper as kind of like a measuring guide, because we have trimmed part of this paper off, so it's not exactly 12 by 12 anymore, but we want it to be 12 by 12 when we add the scraps to the end. So I'm going to use that yellow piece under there as kind of a guide so that I know I am making this into essentially a 12 by 12 paper again. Just like that, it's the same size now. I can get rid of that yellow piece over there. So you're going to want to continue building this page up with all of the pieces. According to, you're gonna have pictures you can refer to for this. There's pictures on the website where you purchased the kit. There's also pictures on the instructions that come with the kit. They're full color. There's a full color photograph of this layout using my white, the one I'm making right now, using the white rectangles as picture space holders. Just get off a little bit of that glue. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do is start layering. Oh no. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is take 6 of these yellow rectangles. Oops, that's only 5. And the back side, you'll see our cameras, and we want some of these cameras. So you have 2 options here. You can either gut, because we only need the frame of this yellow part. So you can either gut the middle very thinly, maybe not even 1/2 inch, and then go in and fussy cut the cameras that are left. Or you can do what I'm going to do. I'm just going to really messy take an X-Acto knife and a self-healing mat, and I'm real quick messy, not paying attention to getting too close to the cameras. I'm going to cut and pop these cameras out. I'm not going to cut them nicely yet because I might not use them all at the end. It's just going to depend what colors you want to use when you see it all with your pictures. So I will take time to fussy cut them nicely out at the end, but not right now. So I'm going to do this to all 6 of those papers. So there's going to be quite a few cameras that I fussy cut out of here. I think I can get this one. It's real close to the edge, but as long as you don't break over the edge and you keep the frame of this piece of paper intact, you're good. I'm going to set these up here so you can kind of see all the edges are still intact, and that's what you want. So I am going to do this to all 6 of these. Okay, I'm working on the last one, and you can see that I've got quite a pile of little cameras. And I want you guys to know I have made this layout 3 times. And if you do not cut out the exact same color cameras that I'm cutting out, like for instance, if you flipped your paper while you were cutting it into these little squares, do not worry. There's plenty of cameras. They might not be the exact same color in the same space that I have mine, but you will get plenty of cameras. So don't stress out if you're not seeing these exact camera colors of in your size, in your pile. They all match the layout, so it doesn't matter. You'll just have a variety. And you can see I only cut cameras that the full entire camera was showing. I didn't cut anything that was halfway cut off. So that's what you're left with, which is fine because like I said, we just need this yellow as kind of like a frame for this next step. And then I'm going to grab this page that we started and continue working on it. So what this page is these, and then you've got these rectangles. There's 6 of these. And you're gonna start piling up these along with your 4 matted 3x4 photos and these 2 yellow cardstock pieces. So I piled the yellow in the very back, and then I topped it with this rust oxidation paper for every single one here. And I'm just laying these out gently right now. I am not adhering anything down because I want to make sure that everything is sticking out right. Little bits and pieces of the back of every one is showing. Make sure everything has its correct placement and looks good together, and all the gutters around the pictures are all pretty even and nice before I adhere anything down. So this is just kind of like messy tilting papers, setting them down, and then I will go back in and kind of fine tune how I want them. Kind of like that. And if you feel that the edge that you're wanting to show is you cut too close with the cameras, flip it over and use another side. Okay, I think this is pretty good actually. Since I have made this a few times, I'm getting pretty good at getting the things staggered. And I do like my pictures a little crooked, but you could make them straight if you want to. And so from this point, I'm going to start in the top layer and adhere that. And then I'm not going to adhere them to the page quite yet. I'm just going to make my layered piles right now, but not adhering them to the page because it's a lot easier to move around these and get them in the exact right position on the layout if they are all taped together as one shape rather than all these little pieces of paper. Okay, I kind of skipped doing all, that was pretty boring. I've done all of these and I'm just working on the my last little stack right here. And then I'm going to make sure that everything is lined up fairly well the way I want it. Looking nice here. And then I'm going to finally adhere each stack to the back page, to my base page. Okay, I'm just putting down that final one. And this page is essentially, the base work on this page is done, and now we're going to add our embellishments. So the camera should be dry by now. So I got blue paint right there. Okay, the camera should be dry by now. We'll set that right there. And you're going to use a few thickers on this piece. I used the Sweeter Than Honey phrase. And I used it right here. I used a blue heart right up here. I used the Choose Happy here in my journaling block. Now, I am going to go back and grab the packaging that your camera came in, and I'm going to fussy cut all of these tags and labels because I use them all between this side and the other side. So I'm going to quickly fussy cut those. Now to the end here, and I have the two circles left on this, and if you have a 1-inch circle punch, these circles are the perfect size to cut using a 1-inch circle punch. Now we're going to put some of these on this half of the layout, and some of them are going to go on the right side of the layout. But the two circles are going to go on this side, and the wood green and white label tabs are also going to go on this side. I'm going to tuck that one in right there, and use this one up here to ground a camera. So the next thing that I'm going to do is grab 3 of my fussy cut cameras, and let's see, I'm gonna actually finish fussy cutting them nicely now because I'm gonna use these on a layout. So I'm still leaving a little bit of white space around it, but I'm making it look a lot nicer than when I just quick did it with the X-Acto knife. So after I fussy cut these, I am going to pop some of them up on dimensional adhesive. I'm gonna leave this yellow one flush with the page, but I am going to pop up both of the other ones just to give a little more dimension to the page. And after I get these on, I am going to add my journaling strips. If you want, you can just journal straight on this light chiffon yellow paper because it's so light that your journaling will easily show up with a black pen. But I like typing out my journaling and either printing it or typing it on the typewriter. So we're gonna pretend like this is my typed journaling that I've got here. My last piece was I had wrote the date and the location, and I stuck it down here. Okay, I adhere this with tacky glue since it's wood. So I just put a little bit of tacky glue on the back. And I find that that holds the wood pretty good on my layouts. And that is all for the left side of this, the right side of this layout. And now we are going to work on the left side of this layout. Okay, so for the left-hand side of this layout, I'm going to start by taping the bottom together, like the base of the layout. It can't really go anywhere but flush to the bottom, so I feel pretty comfortable taping that down without having everything laid out first. So this is the border strip from that camera paper, and this blue piece is the border strip from your blue cardstock that you had, that we cut off. Remember I told you, save the border strips. I like to reuse them to add little details. Oops. This wants to fight with me. I'm trying to tuck it under a little so it's just barely peeking out. There we go. Okay, the rest of this I am going to generally lay out where I want the pieces. I'm not going to tape anything down yet because I want to make sure that everything is fitting and it's fitting with my title and it's looking correct before I adhere anything down. Or before I adhere too much down, I should say. These go here. I did cut a little notch from the end of this thin piece of blue cardstock to make it like a little flag, and I can adhere these down because they're not going to go anywhere else but here. Okay, next is your title, and here's my title. And I feel like it was kind of getting lost in there like that, so I took an office pen, just a plain thin office gel pen, and I outlined around my title, around each letter. I outlined the outline, and then if there was like the hole in the O or the holes in the B, I also outlined right close to the edge of those. So I outlined this whole word. It helps it be a little bit more legible on the page and it's not so lost. So this is an optional step. You don't have to do this, or if you want to ink your word, you could ink it or ink the edges, although it's really hard to ink in these little tiny edges. But the outline was fairly quick and I like the way it looks. And I'm just finishing up this outline, and when I set it on the page, you will be able to see that it really stands out a little bit better than when it was plain white. And this tab from that packaging is going to go on this page. So I'm just going to arrange my pieces so I feel like they're in the exact right places. And then I will start adhering them down. Let's see, this one needs to be up a little higher. And then I'm going to start adhering them down using the very bottom layer first. Pull the bottom layer out of the back and adhere that. And then the next layer. And just kind of slide it into place. It's pretty good. And then my pictures. Okay, once I get everything adhered, I am going to go in and start fussy cutting the rest. Well, first I'm going to pick out the rest of these little cameras where I want them. So let's see what I've got here. I think I want a bigger one up here and maybe a couple little ones up here too. And like I said, if you do not have the same color cameras that I am using, don't worry. They're all the colors match. And like I said, I've made this layout 3 times now, and my cameras are different colors on all of them because I just chose different ones to cut. I'm actually gonna switch this orange with this blue. But I do like to lay them out first just to make sure that it looks pretty even and nice. Oh, I've got a lot of big yellow ones in this one. Let's see. Green and orange. And I think that looks pretty good. So I am just going to work on fussy cutting these cameras, and then I will adhere them down. Okay, now that I precisely cut out all of those cameras, I think I'm actually going to adhere the title next so that I know exactly where I should place the cameras. I am just using regular double-sided tape for this title. If you wanted to add a little more dimension to your layout, you could definitely pop this up on pop dots. And that would look really nice too. But I'm just putting it flat down. And then I am gonna pop some of these cameras up on pop dots. I'm going to, let's see here. I'm going to do this green top one flush to the page. And I'm going to do this green one flush to the page. Let's see, how can I do this? And then I'm going to, I just randomly pick them. So basically the ones that are overlapping on top are going to be the ones popped up, and the ones that are sticking under something are going to be flush to the page. So I will do the rest of these with dimensional adhesive. This page is almost going to be done right now. If you created this layout, or when you're done creating it and you want to share it on our Not Just for Boys community page on Facebook, it's Not Just for Boys Kit Club community. We would love for you to share it there. We like to see what pictures you used and how, if you altered things, you know, changed anything to kind of make it your own style. Yeah, we love seeing what you make with the kits too on that page. There's lots of good inspiration in there. Our design team posts all their layouts in there every day. So we would love to have you join us, or if you want to post on Instagram, you can tag us at Not Just for Boys Kit Club. And I think this pretty much wraps up this layout. I'm gonna share some still shots at the end. And again, you are gonna have color photographs in your instructions that you can refer to. And if you look on our website, notjustforboyskitclub.com, there are also pictures on the listing of where we sell this kit. But I think that's about it. Ooh, I almost forgot. There are hearts, thicker hearts on this page. There's 3 of them. Forgot the thickers. But those I did put in at the end, because the tinier stuff is easier to put in at the end after you get everything else down. Put one right there, and then this phrase, "Every moment matters," is right down here. Okay, now it's really done. Thanks, guys. See you soon.